Welcome to a brand new episode of Local Focus. We are in the midst of football season here, and we want to turn our attention today to the Los Lunas Tigers. So glad to welcome in a player that seems like I've been doing his games for 8 years, but I checked his school ID. It's only been 4. Fabian Trujillo, welcome to the program.
Thank
it's
you for
really
having me,
good to
sir.
have you.
Thank you.
It does feel like you've been there forever.
Oh, dude, it does feel like I've been there forever. I feel like I've seen you a lot of times on the sidelines, too.
Right? Like, I was talking to Daryl, my partner that does the games with me, and we were like, how long has he been here? And but I guess that speaks volumes about you, because that means you've been making plays for a long time.
Yes, sir.
So talk about just, I've never made it a secret. My favorite place to broadcast a game on a Friday night is Los Lunas. I don't know what it is. That's the village, the vibe, the lights are bright there in Los Lunas, like, you know, then you go to B-dubs after the game and have a few, like, I'm not going to lie, that always helps.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But there's just something about the vibe on a Friday night at Los Lunas. For me as a broadcaster, that's my favorite spot. What about as a player? Like, what's that vibe like?
Oh, it's amazing. The band always shows out for us. I mean, the fans, it's always fully packed. They always are loud. Student section, I mean, we plan it with the student section, what to do, what to wear. They're always on point with it. I mean, it's amazing. The lights are shining down on the field. It feels like it's like a spotlight on the field because the stands are kind of dark and around it.
I think that's what it is. The way the lights are, like, yeah, everything's focused on the field.
It's really cool, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So what was that first time you walked out on that field as a varsity player and you looked up, what was that like?
Oh, it was just chills went all the way down my body. It was a different type of feeling that you probably won't ever feel again, but it was amazing rocking out. Right.
And so, like that community, they love that football team. Like,
the community's all about the football team.
So talk about that.
Oh, it's amazing. The community's always been there. I mean, we get a lot of sponsors from the community, but we are closely tight with the community to get them to come to our games, and we always show them support as well. So thanks to the community.
And even the pregame and postgame, like, my parents just bought a house in Los Lunas, so they're all of a sudden my parents are asking me a Los Lunas question. Like, my parents bought a house, and then like 2 weeks later my phone rings and my mom's like, "Who's Jalen Holland?" I'm like, "All right, let me explain it to you, Mom." Yeah. Right? So like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal in Los Lunas athletics there, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. It's a big deal. We always get a couple of big guys that go to a lot of places from Los Lunas, and I mean, it's good to have those guys there because it brings other guys to come watch you play there, but it's amazing.
And it feels like there too, like you know as a young kid, like that's what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's got that Artesia vibe a little bit, right?
It does, because all the younger kids look up to us as well. And
right.
It's cool because they get to be on the sidelines, like some of the younger kids do, and it's pretty cool.
So were you that same way? Were you a little Tiger during Yaffle and all that?
I didn't play Yaffle.
No,
I started in 7th grade year.
Okay. So take football, not till did you start anything before that? Did you play anything before that?
Baseball and basketball.
Okay,
and I did a year wrestling.
Okay, so when did you start those?
Baseball since I was right after T-ball, so pitching machine. I started baseball when I was probably like 5 or 6.
So little Tiger all the way?
Little Tiger, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And so what made you decide to add football your 7th grade year?
My mom always wanted me to do wrestling before I did football, and I never really wanted to do wrestling, but then I was like, well, if I want to play football, I guess I have to do wrestling. So then I did wrestling my 6th grade year, so I could play football 7th grade year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And fall in love with it right away?
Oh, right away.
Growing pains, or what was it like?
Right away, it was just like, this is the sport I like, this is the sport I want to like put my full heart into.
Right. And now you still play the others?
Yes, sir. Baseball, just baseball, though.
Okay. That's a pretty big deal at Los Lunas, too,
yes,
right?
sir, it is.
All right, so I just think it's kind of interesting, like your mom pushed you into wrestling.
Yeah.
You don't hear that a lot.
It really helps with the footwork if you really think about it. Tackling is a lot of a double leg wrestling. So it really helps with the footwork, and I mean, it's a good thing to do because wrestling's a hard sport.
It sounds like she just wanted you out of the house.
It sounds like it.
Right?
Wednesdays were always busy because we'd go from baseball to basketball to wrestling.
All right. So you talked a little bit about it, but tell us how else have those other, how do the sports all complement each other?
Man, they're all different, but they all tie together in the same way. You have to like put the same amount of energy and focus into the same sport, into different sports, I mean, but like they all tie into the same.
What about like, okay, you're going to baseball, to football, to wrestling, like there's not a lot of off time there, right?
No, sir, there's not. It's like you get home, you eat dinner, shower, go to sleep, and repeat.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's really not like a huge break in between seasons either. So like, are you just kind of sore all the time, or like how does the recovery piece? Tell
For
us
football
about that.
season for sure, but like I have I think it's a 2-week period in between football and baseball that I take a break. So then after that break, I feel fully replenished. Really,
Okay. Which is the hardest on the body?
football.
Okay.
All day.
Why?
Just getting hit, leaves you the most sore.
Okay.
Your neck is more sore. Baseball, you don't really get sore besides from pitching. Arm gets sore, but
What? Now I've heard baseball players tell me like hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports.
oh for sure.
So would you?
Oh for sure,
Yeah?
I'd agree so much.
Okay. All right. If you had to name a favorite, is it still football or what?
Still football.
Okay.
Football is my favorite for sure. Baseball is right up there with it, but football just because of the intensity in it.
Okay. What about? Los Lunas, would you say, what would be more special to win a state championship this year in which sport? And you've seen one already, right?
Yes, sir.
Obviously,
I've seen
so
one already. Oh, that's a
Does
hard
that
question.
ever enter your mind? Like,
I've thought
it'd
about
be
it for
nice
both. Like it'd be crazy, but for baseball, I mean, when was the last time they saw a state championship?
Right.
I don't even know when.
We'll get our research department. On that.
Yeah, I don't even know when. So I mean, baseball would be crazy.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a time out with Fabian. When we get back, we're gonna talk about football. We're gonna talk about not only the state championship year, but you started out in the COVID year. You've been through a couple of coaches, so just all that more Tigers talk when we get back.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Back with Los Lunas' Fabian Trujillo. We're talking a little bit about Los Lunas football and all that entails, man. I don't know what it is about Los Lunas football, but it has a special place in my heart, man. Like I love doing games out there, and it seems like you guys, like, just the style in which you play, it's always stood out as from sophomore all the way to now, like we always know where number 2 is on the field, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about that a little bit. Like you get to Los Lunas, you're a freshman. Obviously that's the COVID years, so that did change everything. So
Yes,
how did
sir.
it change everything?
It changed everything. I mean, we didn't even get to be on the field for that long that year. So I mean, it was like almost a wasted year because I didn't really work that year. I mean, we went to the field a few times with just our friends. We couldn't be on the sidelines for the games. So it was like, almost felt like, what is this? What is happening? And then after that.
How hard? Well, before you go to next, but how hard was it to stay motivated during that as a student athlete?
I mean, it kept me motivated by watching the guys that were there that year. They were good. I mean, their first game, what did they beat La Cueva that first game, and they're freaking good. And just I went to a couple practices watching. We were at practice, and just the heart that they played with really stuck with me.
But what about, like, so what were you doing at that point when, I mean, how did you stay motivated? How did you stay in football shape? How did you?
My coach, TJ.
Kept grinding, so talk about that.
Coach TJ, he helped me out a lot. I mean, we were working on that whole off season, I think, and he really helped me just keep my head in the game, and we were just there every time.
How hard was it to go through online workouts and? I mean, your whole life had to change too, like, because not just football. Okay, football. Yeah. We're talking about football, but now all of a sudden your classrooms are
online workouts. I mean, I have a twin brother. I don't know if you knew that, Dominic Trujillo.
Right.
He's my twin brother. I mean, we were always at the gym that year. We were always.
Did you guys ever during online workouts do the switcheroo? Like, hey, you work out today. I'm gonna chill.
No, we can't do that because we look nothing alike.
Oh, see that would have been a good one,
can't
right?
Do that. Yes, sir.
So no, okay, all right. That's where my mind went right away. Cool, so but also talk about how hard that was on you as a kid in the classroom, right? Because now all of a sudden you're doing online classes, like everything changed, right?
Online classes were the worst. I'll tell you that. I lost a lot of focus on that. But I mean, I couldn't focus online. It was hard. And
so I don't think we talk enough about that. Like what made it so hard? What made it so different? And what made it so non-productive?
It just during COVID, it felt like school wasn't. You didn't really have to go. They didn't make it that prioritized.
Right.
I mean, showing up was the only thing really that you had to do, it felt like.
And so, what was the adjustment like going back?
Going back, I really liked it because I like being in school, being in class. I mean, that's better than being at home sitting on a freaking computer all day. So, I mean, it was way better.
Were you guys just like dying to get back?
I was, for sure. I mean, I was like excited to see my friends every day, just the social that comes with it. It's fun.
And you know, obviously I remember at that time talking to Tyler Keeney.
Yes, sir.
When the district kind of shut things down, and that was not a happy time in Las Lunas, right?
No, not happy at all.
Talk about that.
Everybody was mad. Everybody was mad, from the community to everybody that you could think of was mad about it. I mean, we were working out with masks on under our face mask, which was not that fun either.
How hard is that as an athlete? I mean, would you look back at it now and be like, yeah, we worked out with masks on?
No, that was crazy. Having a mask under your helmet is just weird.
And like, here's the thing: in football, like, would they really be able to tell if you didn't have it? Like, you know, in basketball, it was like,
you had.
We talked about like, okay, everyone was just wearing little chin straps, right? Because and then they
put it on their chin,
and then they like cracked down and said, hey, you need to pull them up, right? But in football, like, is there any way to really tell under a helmet?
I mean, I don't think they could really tell. If they were looking that hard, they could, but.
And then as a player, were you thinking at times like, this is the stupidest thing ever?
At times, yeah. I was like, what is even the point of this? At that point, I would have rather got COVID than just have worked out with a mask on.
Turn the page, post-COVID. Obviously, you know, Las Lunas is a special program at that point already, a contender always. So take us into your sophomore year at the beginning.
Sophomore beginning of the year, I was a backup for Devin. There was a backup in front of me, which was Jose, and he was a senior as well. But I mean, I beat him out just because of my hard work. And Devin, he actually got hurt the first game against Pedro Vista. Something in his foot, he really hurt his foot, and he couldn't play the rest of the season. So then I knew that was my time to like step up, and I knew I could step up, and I got that spot, and then it was on from there.
What were your goals heading into that season? Obviously, you know, you say, okay, there's a senior in front of me here.
Yes, sir.
So there probably were some personal goals for you, but then also what were the team goals? Because you guys were a pretty good team at that point.
Team goals were just to keep going. I mean, we won our first game, and we were like, we need to keep going. We see what we have. We see the potential. We see everybody. I mean, practices were crazy.
What about preseason? Was there talk like, okay, this is a championship team here?
Yes, sir.
Was that the goal right away? Blue trophy or bust?
Right away. That was a goal. Okay. I mean, we saw it, and we knew we could do it, and we put our mind to it.
What about personal goals?
Personal goals, I was wanting to be on the field. I wanted to be the first slot receiver on the field, before anyone, and that was my goal. Just at the start of the season, that was my goal.
Okay, and so obviously you guys get off to this great start, right?
Yes, sir.
You have this injury that takes place, and now you're in the starting lineup.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about how does your mindset change once you're starting on Friday?
Once it changed, I was like this is my time. This is where I show everybody what I could do. And I just did that.
What, now take us through the end of that year. Now, district, that's a pretty easy district for you guys to win.
It is, really.
No, I'm just kidding. Right? I mean, it's competitive always,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So you're
It
going
is.
through that district. So take us through that district.
That district, I don't remember who we played first, but we knew we had to win that district.
Right.
We knew we
Yeah,
had
it
no
was-
choice.
Right?
But winning that district was a top priority before anything else.
And so, you know, like I said, that is we were being facetious, but that's a competitive district. So
Yes, sir.
you're going through that district, and then now, at what point did you guys start talking about like, oh, well, we haven't lost? Like, at what point when did it start to become a goal? Like, hey, let's finish this thing undefeated.
I don't think we ever.
Did you guys talk about
I don't
it?
think we ever like brought it up like that. Like we knew we were undefeated. We knew we could keep it going, but we never brought it up as stay undefeated. We just
Right.
said keep our mind to it, and we know we could do it.
And Coach, tell us about Coach at that point. Like, how was he keeping you guys motivated? How was he keeping you grounded? How was he keeping you guys focused?
Oh, practice. Practice is where it all started. Practices were nothing but butting heads. Offense and defense were just going at it all year. That's what really set it off, was offense and defense going against each other.
Now, you were in the program for both coaches, right?
Yeah, I was just there for mopping for practices.
Okay,
Really, yeah.
but you did.
I did.
mean, you were there, so
Yeah.
you saw a little bit of a change, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Oh,
what was
big
that like?
change.
I mean, what was that like for you and teammates to see a coaching change and a little bit of a change in philosophy?
I mean, when a new coach steps in, you can't do nothing but listen to him and everything he says. And we believed in what he was doing, and we put our mind to it. And doing everything that he said was just on top of our mind, and we really thought that it could work.
And I'm a big Coach Hennington fan myself.
sir.
Like I can remember having conversations with him, and he's talking about, well, you know, even though you guys are winning, he's like, well, we still got to get better. Want to establish the run. Want to do stuff that'll work in the playoffs. So, like, was that the same thing you guys were hearing during the season? Or what was he telling you guys to you know, get you to peak at the right time?
Oh, he was just telling us to.
Shut up and run. Right? Or-
Well, I mean, we did run a lot that season, but we're just on top of it. I mean,
Right.
he told us everything that we could do to put in place to do it. All we had to do was do it.
Right.
And we really did it.
So take us through the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
First round. Right? Obviously, you guys have a great seed and all that stuff. So take us to your first game.
Who did we play first game?
Well, actually, you know what? No, let's just. I mean, because the early rounds are not. They're not entertaining. Let's that's putting it lightly, right?
Yeah.
So, did you guys kind of have an idea of who you're going to play that year? Like, did you hope you would get them again?
I mean, what was it? Semifinals when we had Goddard. That
Right.
was really what we were looking for.
That's always a big game,
Yes,
right?
sir. We
Yeah.
had already played them during season.
Right.
And we knew they were a good team, physical.
They were tough, right? Physical. We had that on my 50
big.
game.
Yes, sir. They're very physical. We knew we could beat them. It was actually a really close game at that point. Ball just dropped me a dive in the corner of the end zone to put us ahead in the fourth quarter.
I feel like that's the type of team that if you take them lightly or you look
Oh, for
ahead,
sure.
like that's the kind of team that's
Oh,
going to
for
come up
sure.
and bite you,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. They almost did, really, but we pulled through.
Okay, so you got that out of the way. Now, at that point, are you looking forward to a Roswell matchup the whole season, or tell us? I mean,
We were thinking Goddard, Roswell, or Artesia. We really
Right.
didn't know, but we were setting our mind for all three. I mean, we didn't really know who it was going to be, but we knew we were going to see one of them.
okay, and so then when you do see one of them, championship, take us to championship Saturday. What was that like?
Championship Saturday was insane. I mean, at that point,
Take us through your day. We're talking breakfast all the way through lifting the
breakfast, woke up and I had a breakfast burrito. My mom always makes best breakfast burritos.
trophy. Okay.
I had to put some red chili in it.
Okay.
Breakfast burrito. And woke up, got my mind ready, hopped in the shower. I was just cooled down. I was actually really
Like, what do you do to mind ready guy? Like, are you a music to get your mind ready guy? Are you a kind of relax and stay quiet to get your mind ready guy? What gets Fabian Trujillo's mind right?
Before
Other than delicious burritos.
the music when I get into the locker room, but
Okay.
before the locker room, I like to chill out. I like to
Okay.
think about the game, how I'm gonna
Okay.
play the game. I watch a lot of film.
All right.
I'll even watch film on game days as well. So I did watch a little film on game day.
Okay, so you knocked out, you got your breakfast, got the shower, got your mind right.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we're approaching game time. What's that like?
Approaching
what's
game
happening
time,
then?
I'm in the locker room getting ready. I'm just listening to music. Everybody's calm. Everybody's calm and collective. Really, I mean, locker room was we knew what we had to do in the locker room, and it it was there.
Now you're pretty familiar with those guys, right? Having
Yes, sir.
played that team. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what's that like when you know you're playing a team where you kind of know what they're bringing?
We knew what they were gonna do. I mean, we watched a lot of film on them. They're bringing. They brought a lot. I mean, our defense did really good that game. We had really good corners. Dominic Trujillo, Marco Perez. They held that down. Backers, Miggy.
Did you feel? I mean, obviously you were around the program the year that Roswell won against you guys. So did you feel like, okay, it's our turn? Like was that a lot of it?
That was a lot of it. I mean, we almost had not like revenge, but almost revenge on our mind the whole game. And I mean, that's what the motto was the whole week.
All right, take a time out here. We'll get through the championship game when we get back.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Back with Fabian Trujillo. We're just finishing up that magical undefeated championship season. It ends at home.
Yes, sir.
Revenge game against Roswell.
game.
How sweet was that?
I was against Artesia.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, you get the revenge tour against Artesia.
We had nothing on our minds but to win that game. I mean, that whole week before practice, that was the craziest week I've ever had of practice, I think. Just getting prepared for that game, our mentality for that game. I mean, I think we really brought it.
And what's obviously now you're in it. You're at home. All that tradition on the other side, right?
Yeah.
You guys having come so close.
Yes, sir.
That close loss to Roswell. Then there was the COVID year. Like, you guys were on a definite revenge tour that year. Like, how special was that?
Oh, it was very special. I mean, just to go undefeated was very special.
And then when you get to knock out like football royalty, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that was
right?
amazing. What was it? I don't even know how many in a row, but that was insane. I mean, to knock that out was pretty fun.
Right. So, what was the aftermath of that, man? The locker room after you guys.
Locker room after was insane. I mean,
Right.
It was really crazy. Everybody was hyped. It was just really fun.
What was that celebration like? What was that community like that night and the next day?
That night and the next day was really crazy. I mean, we even went in that parade that year. I mean, the next day, all you see everybody was like, "You play for Los Lunas?" "Yes, sir, I do." "Congratulations." Everybody in this community knew.
You probably got some free meals around town for a couple of weeks there, right?
I think we did get a free meal.
There you go. All right.
Places.
All right. So then after that, you guys move up a classification, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
that was a big thing.
Yes, sir.
So how cool is that? As a player, I know you guys love that because you want
That's
to play
really
the
cool.
best.
I think that's
so
cool.
Talk about that.
I think that's amazing to get to play the best teams in the state. I mean, it really shows who you are and who you are as a team. I mean, there's nothing you can do but play the best teams in the state, and I think that's how it should be.
And so that brings us into this season that we're in right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're fighting the big dogs.
Yes, sir.
Obviously the big setback was La Cueva, but that's a really, really good team.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be a playoff team, and if you guys can get in, then maybe you see them again, right? So,
yes, sir.
So where's your mind at right now as a team and as an individual? Where are you at?
Right now, we're just going game to game. I mean, we're not thinking too far ahead. We're just, what's this week's task? What do we have to do this week to win this game? And then it's on from there.
And so, would you like, I ask this question, and sometimes I think it's a stupid question, but sometimes kids are like, no, we really do want to play a certain team. Would you like to see a certain team again, or you just want to get in and see what we can do?
Well, we'll just see who we get, really. I mean, whoever they give us, we're going to have to play. I mean, even if it's La Cueva, Cleveland, whoever we have to play, we're going to play them. So it's like, we don't really have a certain team that we want to play.
Right. Now, you're in that classification. You get to play the best, which is cool. But then you also still have the chili roaster every year. So talk about that. That's a pretty cool environment, too.
The chili roaster is fun. I mean, that's always a good rivalry.
It's a big deal down there.
Yeah, it is, really. I think that might be over this year. This is the last year that it happened. But that was a good rivalry through the 3 years that I played. It's really fun.
Talk about how engaged Belen and Las Lunas are when that happens, man. Like, I have some friends from Belen, I have some friends from Las Lunas, and they take that stuff way too serious.
They take it very serious. I mean, even parents. Parents take it serious, too. And it's like, Belen and Las Lunas, it's like very
cool,
crazy.
Though, as a player?
Really
Was it cool?
It's cool because the games are very intense. The other players really bring it when they try to play us.
So, have you lost to Belen in your career? No, right?
No, sir.
Clean sweep all the way,
sir.
right? All right. Quickly, baseball. We want to get some. What's the vibe there? What's the team going to look like?
Well, we have a young team this year, but they all want to win. They already started preseason actually, so they're already all working. And I see them all every day. I ask them how's baseball. They're all doing really good actually.
Right.
We have a young team. I think we could really do good things this year.
All right. Lastly, I want to talk about a little bit. You had some players from that program go to the next level, obviously, right?
Yes, sir.
Caden's kicking at the next level.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you see the boys at UNM, right?
Yes, sir.
So, if given the opportunity, would you like to do that at the next level?
Yes, sir. If given the opportunity, I think I would for sure take it to the next level.
And I feel like maybe you're being a little under-recruited at the moment because you strike me as the kind of kid, like, if you just get an opportunity, you always seem to make the plays.
Yes,
like
sir.
Against the big team. And I think that's why we think you've been around for 8 years.
Yeah, because you see the
Because
big
when it's
plays.
a big TV game against a big opponent, it seems like you always make the big play.
Yes, sir.
I think coaches are kind of missing out here if they don't at least give you a call.
To make a big play.
So, what do you need to do to get your name out there some more, man? Are you sending tape out? What?
I really need to start working on more tape. I really haven't put tape together. I mean, I post on Instagram, but I need to get to Twitter and post more tape.
Well, we certainly hope you get the opportunity,
Thank you,
man.
sir.
We're big fans of yours here at Local Focus and at ProView. Daryl and I are big fans of yours. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
You for watching, everyone, and good night.
Thank you.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com.